Guys, welcome to this special edition of the Absolute Geek Podcast. We got Tyrone Magnus with me here. We're going to be talking about spoilers. Spoilers on Spider-Man No Way Home, man. How are you, though, by the way, man? What's good?
I'm good, man. I'm good. And I'm a lot better now that I saw this movie.
When did you end up seeing the movie?
Wait a minute. Came up. I saw Thursday.
So you saw the day it came out. You saw it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You know, people. But every time I do a review a day before, people are like, "How'd you see it?" Because of the sneak preview.
Yeah.
The thing called sneak preview. A lot of you younger dudes don't know about this. Sneak previews started years ago, but they would be at 12 a.m.
Yep.
They would be midnight.
Yep.
And now they've started doing them way earlier. It came down to like 8, 7 o'clock. And now I saw it at 3:30. I'm like, they might as well say they released it the day before.
Exactly. Know what I mean? Exactly. It's like it's not a midnight premiere anymore. It's like, all right, well, you definitely it's not the same. Yeah. It's definitely not the same. I remember we were talking about this on a podcast prior, but like the idea of because back in the day in the States, you couldn't reserve your ticket, your seats. So you had to go to the theater and wait hours before. You're just in line, waiting to make sure you get a good seat.
Yeah, I forgot about that, man.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, I was never one of them.
Oh, I was one of them.
Yeah. Yeah, I got buddies that's like that too. They're like, yeah, man, I got the tent waiting for my PlayStation. I'm like, you one of them? He's like, hell yeah. We're just out here chilling. Brought the barbecue. I'm like, God damn.
Not the barbecue. I think the first movie I had done that with was actually with Transformers. So I was a professional dancer for a while. But when I first started dancing, we had like all these dancers in Vegas, and in Vegas there's a casino called the Palms, and at the time there was a Brendan Theaters in the Palms, and we went there a couple hours early, got our tickets, and we were in line because that was really the only way you can get good seats was waiting in line for it because you couldn't pre-order your seat selection. But yeah, bro, it was But there's parts of it that I miss, right? Like the community behind it and the excitement build up while you're waiting. But I do prefer ordering my tickets and getting my seat selection well before.
Yeah, that's much more preferred these days. And to tell you the truth, I always, in my area, I forgot, where are you from? Wait, you're in Australia, right?
I'm in Australia, but I'm from Vegas, though.
From Vegas, yeah. Over here, I can always get tickets for whatever movie I want. Like, there's a couple movie theaters out here, like everybody knows about, but they never get that packed. I don't know why they never get that packed. I always find mine. So, but Vegas, I get it. You know what I mean? So yeah. So I saw it.
Okay.
I loved it.
Yeah, man, it was so good. It was so good.
Yeah,
so,
part of me. Oh, go ahead.
No, you're good.
Sorry. Part of me during the first, I would say, half hour to 45 minutes was kind of like, all right, are you gonna piss me off? Like, there were certain things that were happening. I was like, they're gonna be mad at me when I get this review. But it changed, and it was just I don't know if it was the tone or how it was going was starting to bother me. But then they fixed it all. I wouldn't say they fixed it all, but they definitely showed up. And that's what overwhelmingly made me give it a 5 out of 5. Because no 5 out of 5 movie's perfect to me.
I agree.
You know, it had enough of everything that I wanted to be a happy fan watching the movie.
Yeah, that was a thing too, because I know some people are like, oh, so you thought it was perfect. And I was like, no, like there's like in movies, there's always going to be things that are overlooked when you're in, like things that you probably did in the writing room or you overlooked in the writing room. And then when you start filming it, certain things may not work the way you thought it did. So now you're trying to recorrect as you're filming. And then when you get into the editing bay, there's a saying that the movie's made in the editing bay. So the movie's made in the edit. So a lot of the stuff is like some things may not work and they have to re-edit things in position or say, hey, we may need to do a reshoot for this because this isn't working. Or so it's just one of those things where there's always going to be some kind of little, you know, plot holes here, or maybe they have to do something for convenience for the plot, you know. So that's always a thing. But yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you.
The Dark Knight's not perfect. Infinity War's not perfect. They're great movies. They're just not perfect.
Right.
Yeah, because if you want to nitpick, you can.
Yeah.
I mean, just the fact that Two-Face was shoehorned in. He did feel shoehorned in at the end. I was like, it doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
Great movie, but it doesn't feel right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so on this one, like, so guys, just so you guys are aware, we're going to be talking spoilers. This is a spoiler discussion. So if you guys have not seen Spider-Man No Way Home, come back afterwards. You guys can come back afterwards and watch this discussion. So we are going to be going into spoilers. So if you're over here crying about it, I don't know what to tell you. It sounds like a you problem to me. But yeah, so early on in the movie, and I agree with you, early on in the movie, it wasn't necessarily a slow burn, because I felt like the pacing was good, but it seemed like we started immediately right off from the previous movie, right? And I think one of the biggest moments that a lot of people were excited about right off the bat was the Matt Murdock sequence. That sequence.
What was it? The cane? The cane appears.
The cane appears, and we were like, "What?" And then you see it, the pan, and I was like, "Oh my god! Like, this is awesome." So, like, how did you feel about that moment? Like, because I know for me, I was super excited about it.
Well, it was one of those things where, because of the nature of what I do, I knew he was going to be there anyway. I figured he would be there. So when I saw it, it was nice. But I thought it was weird how it kind of went from that to nothing. Like, there was no court. There was no, you know what I mean? Like, I was like,
yeah, well, that's the thing, too.
I think there would have been more legal stuff going on.
Right. I think it was a thing because they were like, look, you really don't have an issue there. He was basically saying, at least from my remember, because I only seen it once, he had told them, like, look, you guys really have nothing to worry about, but Happy, you need to lawyer up for real. I think it kind of came to the agreement of like, no, you guys are okay. They really don't have anything against you, but Happy, you might need to tighten up. But I thought that one of the things too, because I agree, like being in the space, you hear the rumors and stuff, and you're like, okay, what's going on, and the potential of Matt Murdock being in it. But I think how they were handling some of the characters that we heard were going to be in the movie that's always the question mark. Right? You're like, all right, how are they going to actually do it? How are they going to handle it? Because he could have been in there and it could have been a trash scene. So I think that's, for me anyways, that's what I was more excited about, is they dealt with it. They let you know, yes, he's Daredevil. The brick catch.
Yeah, when he caught the brick.
You know,
and come on, as smart as Peter is supposed to be, I'm sure he should hold that in the back of his mind, like, oh, you caught that because you're a good lawyer. Because that's what he says.
Yeah.
Like,
how'd you do that? I'm a good lawyer. So good.
Like, okay.
Right. So I think that was one of those things too, where my question is this for you. Like, do you think we're getting the same Matt Murdock that we got from the Daredevil series? Or do you think they're going to be redoing him, just keeping him as the actor?
Oh, kind of like, I guess, J. Jonah, maybe. Although they made J. Jonah bald in this universe. Yeah. He's the same personality, the same guy, but he's bald. And when I noticed that, I was like, I wonder if he's really supposed to be the same one. Yeah, so I don't know. You posing that question to me makes me think. Otherwise, I thought we're getting the same one.
Yeah, the only reason I would say that was because from what I remember, and I could be wrong, maybe somebody in the chat could let us know, but from what I remember, the MCU and the Netflix universe weren't connected. I thought they were siloed.
I they were, because they reference each other.
They reference each other, but it's like they're not like direct references. Like, you're not, then everyone would say like, oh, Iron Man or like the Hulk. It was like really like vague references.
Like, I think I saw someone like, yeah, like there's no raging green monsters over here. So
Right.
so like I think I
Right.
heard a line like,
Right.
yeah,
It's like a loose connection. So
yeah.
so I was like, are they gonna keep it the same, or are they going to kind of redo their
I would
story?
hope that they did. I want the Matt Murdock that we got.
Yeah, I agree.
From Netflix. I want the Punisher too. He's gory as hell though. They're gonna have to tone him down, but I like him.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I thought that scene was awesome. My crowd went nuts. Here in Australia, audiences are very reserved, so they're not like crazy or whatever. This movie, the crowd was insane. It felt like I was back in LA. It felt like people were like, oh, like, yeah, it was so exciting. I was like, oh, like, because usually I'm the only one in the theater like hype. Usually it's like me only, and I'm looking around. They're like, who's this loud American? But yeah, so I was excited about that. What were some of like, so right after that you had the whole sequence of them finding out that they weren't going to get into any of their schools.
Yeah.
And then you'd have that sequence of him going to Doctor Strange. How did you feel Doctor Strange was in the movie?
Oh, I thought he was fine. I thought he was Doctor Strange. Nothing. He didn't deviate. He stayed who he was. I got exactly what I think I wanted, or at least expected to get from Doctor Strange being in the movie.
Yeah.
Except I didn't expect Peter to get a one-up on him like that.
Yo, so crazy thing, and I forgot to say this in my review, but during the sequence when he pushed him out of his body, if you look at Peter, he has his spider sense lines going.
Really?
It's above his head. So yeah, because that's why Spider-Man kept dodging him, is because his spider sense was going.
People kept saying that they were like somehow his spider sense was active still.
It was so good. I was like, oh man,
I gotta look for that now when I go see it again.
Yeah, I was like, oh wow. But yeah, what is it? Somebody said, what are they talking about? They brought up the events of the first Avengers. Did they? I don't remember that from any of the Netflix series, but you could be correct.
Yeah, I could have swore they did. Yeah. So. Yeah.
So with the whole Doctor Strange scenario, because for me they did really good in the trailers of shooting things for the trailer that weren't actually in the movie. Because I remember, if you remember, Wong comes in and he was like, "Don't do that spell." And he was like, "Oh yeah, I won't." And then he winks at Spider-Man. That didn't happen at all in the movie.
That didn't happen.
Right.
I was I did that in my spoiler. Yeah, my spoiler talk. I was like, he doesn't do that.
Yeah. So I like that Marvel does that in their trailers, because they did that with Infinity War as well. Because Hulk was in the scene at the end of the movie.
I was gonna say that worked out not as good. That's one of those things that didn't work out well, because people were mad he wasn't in it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. People were mad at the blue screen or green screen for him popping out.
Right.
Oh, you guys are so screwed up. It looked weird.
It looked wonky. It looked wonky for sure. It looked wonky for sure. But yeah, I kind of like that. That they kind of tweak certain things for the trailers. This one was more similar to Thor Ragnarok. So remember in Thor Ragnarok, the trailers, he had both of his eyes, but in the movie, by the time at the end did the lightning, he only had one eye. So they were like trying to hide stuff in the trailer without giving things away. So I'm cool with that, but I agree with you on the sense of the Hulk one, where it was like, you're telling us he's here, but he's actually not there. Yeah. But yeah, that was interesting. So when they brought in Alfred Molina for the first time on screen, like, how did you feel about it? Like, seeing him back in the Doc Ock suit.
Okay, so here's the thing. How old are you again?
I'm 34. Okay.
I got 10 years on you.
Right.
So it's different for me because when I went to see it, it doesn't have the nostalgia effect in certain ways.
Right.
As it does for like everybody loves Alfred Molina's Doc Ock.
Right.
But for me, he was Doc Ock. It wasn't like this exceptional like villain in the series. Like he's like almost like the Joker for the Spider-Man movies with the fandom, with how they feel about him. Like the fans love Doc Ock a lot from Spider-Man 2. So when I saw him, I was just like, there he is, you know what I mean? But some people was like, ah, damn. You know, they're so happy to see him.
Right.
I was happy to see him, but it doesn't have as much nostalgia for me. But I tell you this, I did have nostalgia feels later with the 3 Spider-Man, which I'm sure we'll get to.
Oh, yeah.
I was just like, man, this is affecting me more than I thought it would.
Right.
You know? Because when I got into when I started watching these Spider-Man movies that were coming out with Tobey and then Andrew.
Right.
But superhero movies were kind of changing at that point.
I mean, those are the, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And I didn't know if I liked them. Like, I never bought the Spider-Man movies. And I bought them later.
Right.
But I never bought them. They weren't a movie. I was like, it's good, but just didn't do something for me, you know?
Yeah, because I was in high school when they came out. So, but I mean, the first Spider-Man movie I really liked. The second one, Spider-Man 2 is still, I think, one of the best, if not the best Spider-Man movie. But we'll talk about that.
Yeah,
but
because when I even think of the greatest superhero movies of all time, Spider-Man 2 doesn't even come up. I've only seen it maybe once or twice.
Got you.
I'm going to watch it again today.
Ooh.
I watched the first one yesterday.
Ooh, okay.
And I'm going to watch it again today.
Okay.
We're going to see how I feel.
Yeah, you know, it's so funny because when it comes to like, I think in the storytelling aspect, it's a different Spider-Man from Tom's. Like Tom is very, you know, he's a younger kid. He's more of a kid, right? He's really a kid, and they make that apparent in this movie. And it's interesting because the Homecoming, Far From Home, and No Way Home, we were always like, oh, like there was something missing, right? Like there's something missing with his Spider-Man, and a lot of it, I think people never grasp that. It's because he's still a kid. He's not a man at all. He hasn't really went through a hardship that the other 2 Spider-Men have had, right? The Uncle Ben side of things or whatever. So these 3 movies are essentially this MCU Spider-Man's origin story. That's his story becoming Spider-Man.
All 3 parts.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So, which is really interesting in comparison to Spider-Man 1, where that was the origin story with the bite and him figuring out his, you know, like, it was a very different scenario for sure. But I agree with you with Alfred Molina. Like, I loved seeing him there. I liked it. For me personally, I miss the actual real arms. Because if you guys don't remember, like the actual real arms were puppeteered, and they all had a different personality. Like they all one was really feminine, one was really aggressive. Like so they all had different personalities. So there was a little bit of that just didn't really read. They didn't really kind of go into, and there really wasn't a need to. But that was something that I saw. I was like, oh, it doesn't really have the same flair to it. But how did you feel when his nanos got on his tentacles?
Yeah, I was kind of like, how does he just know how to just take his like that? But I thought it was funny how Peter was like, oh. And he started controlling the arms. I was like, okay.
It was interesting to me that I was like, man, my man was mad. Like, it was interesting to see Doc Ock. He automatically knew what it was. Like, oh, nanotech, Peter. I didn't know you were this. You had it in you. And I was like, oh, so he's fully aware of what's
of nanotech. Yeah, because Iron Man came out with it later.
Right.
This was
right.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool.
The if you want to get serious, you know, maybe the technology existed, but he just never used it for his suit.
Maybe.
You know what I'm saying?
Or maybe just the theory of it. He just understood the theory of it and was like, "Oh, this is nanotech. Like, I didn't know you could. I didn't know you were. I didn't know you were this far out. Like, I thought that was really awesome. Though I just thought it was a cool little like scientist nod of him just being who he is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know.
And Peter didn't get it back until he didn't get the rest of his suit back until he it took like, you know, with Iron Man, it's like parts will break off,
right?
And it seems like he needs to make more,
right?
Or it's covered just enough. It was just like
he had a hole in his chest the whole time. Like, bro, you might want to patch that up. Yeah, I thought that was interesting. Immediately though, on the bridge scene when Goblin popped up, that's when the movie switched for me. Like, the tone went from, oh, there's people here, to, uh-oh. Like, it just felt like things got dark immediately. And it, yeah, for sure. And it was one thing too, that every time, like, Tom noted, like, his spider sense went really crazy anytime Goblin really was there. Right? So, like, because the first time he was like, what the hell is that? And then Goblin comes, right? And then you had the same thing happen later on in the apartment where he was like,
I love that scene.
He was like looking around.
That was weird because you almost didn't know if it was his spider sense or something else.
Right.
It was really a dark.
Yeah.
That was eerie how that. I loved how they did it.
Oh, that was so good. Yeah. That was the thing too that I liked, that they removed the mask, because Willem Dafoe is such a beast. Like, he's such a beast of an actor. So, like, seeing him actually being able to be physical in the face, whereas before he had the mask on, you couldn't really see him once he was outside of that, right? So, like, I like that they took the mask away and, like, you got to see the crazy, that Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde vibe.
Smiling at him.
Oh.
Like, what the fuck? And he was sitting there with some hard shots too, man.
I was like, yo, that scene though, like, and because I know some people had talked to me like, oh, well, you know, it's really interesting that, you know, Aunt May let him do that. It's like, you have to understand, like, Aunt May has always been the caregiver. That's her character in the MCU, of her, you know, being at the shelter that she works at and stuff like that. So her focus is wanting to help people. And she's like, look, you have the ability to help people, so, you know, cool.
Yeah. I didn't like it. I literally said I said out loud in the theater, I was like, you're fucking crazy. I said it just like that. But the way the movie ended up, I liked it. I was like, you know, it was the right choice. Even though she died, he was able to save everybody, and, you know. Yeah.
It's one of those things, too, where it's interesting, too, right? Where it's like, you have people that are so nice, where there's naivety that's built into that, right? Where it's like, I'm so nice, I'm caring, but it's like, there's a point at which you don't know these people from another universe. You have no context. And Tom has no context of what's going on with Osborn.
And he brought him to the fucking house. I'm like, what are you doing? This is the Green Goblin who switches on a dime, and you brought him in the house. Hey, this machine does this.
Right.
And it does that. Really? What? That shows how still naive he is as a young man.
Right. Exactly.
Too trusting.
But that was the awesome part about it, right? Where it was, at least for me anyways, of him, he's so focused in wanting to help. I can do this. I can help them, blah, blah. And he didn't even listen to the cues that Doc Ock had said when they were locked up. They're like, oh, Osborn, oh yeah, you lost your mind. Like he was talking to him like, yeah, like, you're the dude that lost it. Like, what are we? But he didn't think to ask more questions. He wasn't, you know what I'm saying? So, like, it was one of those things where that naivete and his inability to just see what was actually going on. Like, oh no, well, you know, Spider-Man killed him, but I don't want them to die. It's like, maybe, like, why, like, where did it not come in of like, well, they were fighting Spider-Man to begin with for a reason. Like, what's going on? Like, you just go say, hey,
we're trying to kill him.
Right.
You know, if it was me, if I was starring in that movie, it ended in the first half hour. But
hit the button.
Rolling. I ain't dealing with this shit.
Hit the button. But, you know, that's one of the things too that I enjoyed about it, was having that that naive trust and it backfiring, blowing up in his face. And it's like, you can't just trust everybody. You think you can, and you want to assume positive intent, but
Aunt May dying was his and her fault.
Yeah, 100%.
Because she wanted him to fix them, and he brought him home.
Yep.
You said he could have a dog, Aunt May, and he brought the dog home.
Right.
But you didn't know the dog was abused and damaged, and it bit you.
Right. And it's it mirrors the Uncle Ben thing from the first one, where Spider-Man, it was his fault. He was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna let him go," and it was like, "Oh yeah, cool, yeah, it's all good. You screwed me, I'm gonna screw you. Yeah, see you later." And then next thing you know, Uncle Ben got the axe. So it still goes into that. Obviously the first Spider-Man was more of a petty thing, but this was more of of naivete, right? So,
but that always irritates me about movies and fiction. We do idealize these characters a lot,
right?
And we do certain things with these characters we would never do in real life, like
100%.
In real life, the Joker, someone would have killed. If it wasn't Batman, someone would have killed the Joker by now.
For sure,
he's killed thousands of people, just being a psycho,
right?
But for more stories' sake, and we got to make some money and keep these people entertained, he's still alive all
exactly.
the time,
Exactly.
But this whole naivety that these characters have, Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, all of them know we need to trust the justice system. And that irritates me so much. And I was straight up agreeing with Tom. I was like, you know what, Tom, you're wising up right now. Like when I'm listening to him talking to me, like, man, this ain't my problem. Like we need to send them back.
Right.
I was like, you damn right. So, but yeah, you just gotta expect it when you go to see superhero movies.
Exactly. And I think that's the thing too, where it's like, right, exactly. It's like, look, it's not real. So let's see let's see where it goes.
Yeah.
But I think
not like there's real human villains running around.
Right.
They don't do that. So
Exactly. So like after that moment and you start having that actual fight take place, which was kind of wild, because Willem Dafoe, like, he beat the brakes off of Tom. Like he gave him the business.
Did you notice how it was the same sequence? Tom got on top of him and started hitting him with the hard elbow strikes like Black Widow did with the Winter Soldier. I was like, where have I seen this? I was like, wait a minute, Winter Soldier.
So good. It was so good. Like, it was one of those things too where, for me, watching that sequence, it was kind of showing that like Peter's never really fought another super powered human that wanted to kill him. Like he's never, and let it be a man at that. Like, look, dude, like, I'm like, so I love the fact that he just wasn't really prepared at all.
No.
So I love that. And then obviously the May situation was that was set up. I actually liked how that was set up. How did you feel about the setup for May?
I thought it was strange that she got up. I'm like, wait a minute. Usually in a scene like this, they're dying. Like they turn around, hey, it's safe. And they're laying there, hey, I'm gonna be all right. That type of crap. But she actually got up and was walking around with him. And then I was like, okay. It was like, yeah, you kind of did that whole delay, the killer's not dead type of thing. There he is. He did it this way with her dying, I like the way they did it, though. I mean, it pulled on the heart chords.
Yeah.
I was sitting there.
Well, I mean,
but do this.
So, but here, I think the reason, personally for me, that was a much more impactful scene than any of the previous Uncle Ben scenes, because we've had movies with her. We've had multiple movies with her. She's been in the MCU now.
We got to know her.
Right. So when that moment happens, you're just like, oh damn, like. And I agree. I think a lot of it could have came down to adrenaline, her trying to protect Peter. You know what I'm saying? Like getting to make sure he's okay. And then she just kind of like, you saw her body shaking after that. Her body started shaking. And so I was like.
Uncle Ben's like, I guess you could say kind of like John Kent.
Yeah.
Like usually when you watch the movie, you don't get to know him. You
Right.
see him in a few scenes and then he's gone.
Right.
You know? So
you just know through verbal that he was important to him, but you personally haven't been connected to the character.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that sequence was hard, and I think that was an awesome part. It was a great segue into showcasing the new Spider-Man or the old Spider-Man, because of the fact that they couldn't find Peter. Peter dipped out. His friends were like, something happened, like we need to find him. So all right, so when Ned starts using the magic, right? Portal opens.
Just people that don't like that. Just people that don't like that.
Look, so here's my thing. Here's my thing with it. And did he say something earlier to Doctor Strange that, yeah, you know, somebody, you know, my mom or auntie said magic runs in my family or something like that, and he's like, okay, like, so
he says, so I get these tingling in my fingers, and I said, well, his thinking is probably diabetes. That's why he said you should see your physician. You see your physician. And before we move forward, the whole Happy and her breakup was weird too. I was like, why are they breaking them up?
Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
I honestly, I think it was probably for the impact later. For him, like, damn, like, you know. But regardless, I felt.
What are they setting that up for?
Huh?
Who you think they're setting that up to be a particular character?
Who exactly?
Ned, I'm asking you.
For Ned?
Setting him up? Yeah, because he has apparently a knack for it.
So in the comics, Ned is actually one of the goblins. So in my head, how they played out this movie with them forgetting who Peter is, because he says when he finds out that, oh, my best friend ends up fighting me or whatever, trying to kill me. He was like, oh, I'll never try to do that to you. But he's no longer his best friend. So
I thought about that. Yeah.
So later, I think they're probably going to set him up to become one of the goblins, I think. But that's just, whatever. But
the goblin that he is in the comics, does he have magical abilities?
I don't know, to be honest. Chat, let us know. Does the goblin have any magic? Does his goblin have any magic? But when
he's a hobgoblin, right?
I think so. I think he's a hobgoblin. But that sequence, when you saw the portal open and you saw the silhouette of Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, what was the crowd reaction? What was your reaction?
Oh, I'm going to show you exactly what I did. So, he opens it up and they're like, hey, yo, Peter. And it shows him. And then it shows him again for a split second. And it felt like I noticed before everybody else did. And I was like, it's not him, it's the other one. I said it right out loud. Oh shit, it's not him, it's the other one. And then he said, and the whole crowd, perked up and they're all like looking at each other like, does he know something we don't know? Like, yeah, I'm a YouTuber and people send me all the leaks. I'm sorry.
Honestly, like in my theater, when it opened up the first time and you saw the silhouette, about maybe half of the theater gasped. Like they were like, like it was strange because I had heard rumors.
Someone knew already.
I had heard rumors, but I was like, and then you saw the Andrew Garfield. He needs an Oscar for the interviews he did of convincing people that he wasn't in this movie.
Well, I was about to say, there's an interview I did a reaction to where he says, this. No, I'm not in the film. And I was like, the way he's looking down, like he doesn't want to have eye contact with them. He doesn't want to lie, I feel like. I think he's still in it. But he said he wasn't, so I was going to believe him, but I was like,
Yeah, I seen like maybe 3 or 4 interviews that he had, because he was promoting his movie, Tick, Tick, Boom, and they kept asking him about it. And I think he got to the point of like, look, I'm not in it. He's like, sorry in advance. And I was just like, but the way he was saying it, I was like, oh, I think he might be serious. Like I was like, okay, but he pops through, takes off the mat. Like people went nuts. And then the
crowd erupted.
Went crazy. Like we were so hyped. I was just glad that they did it. I was like, okay, they did it. And then you had the Tobey situation, and it was another crazy.
But the whole thing was weird to me because they opened it and he just stepped through like, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
Like, there was no caution. There was no like, hey, what the hell is this sparkly circle doing here? He just walks in.
Yeah.
Like he knew he was expected to walk in.
Yeah.
That didn't work right for me.
Okay, that's fair.
That didn't work right for me, you know?
That's fair.
It should have been more like Andrews.
Like, hold on, what the hell's going on? Right.
It took him a while to get over there, you know? So Tobey came through like it was a guest appearance in a skit. Hey, I'm Tobey Maguire.
You know what it was? It felt like a WWE entrance to me. He's like, all right, I guess I'm coming through.
Yeah.
But yeah, so how did you feel about, cause like they came through obviously and they had their little banter in there, and I thought it was funny because I'm part Filipino, so having the whole like the Tagalog going on with the auntie or the grandma like that, I thought was hilarious. I thought that was great. But when they're like, look, they're like, oh well, where is he at? Usually we go to some place like, you know, Empire State or whatever, and he's like, oh yeah, we know where he's at, and he ends up going to the school, and you know, obviously they're there to console him, but when it tilts up and you see the silhouettes of them on the building, I was like, bro, this is like, I was so hyped. The nerd in me was like, oh, like I was so excited.
Yeah, you know what's funny? I liked that, but of course I didn't get super excited. The biggest, I guess you could say, in all moment for me. Not just a yo, like not like that.
Right.
More of a just like, holy shit! Just like as a fan seeing it all come together was after they all jumped off the building together.
Oh yeah,
and they start swinging together, and I was like, shit.
Yeah.
And then they all land.
Pop, pop, pop. Yeah, that was so sick.
Boom. And I was like,
yeah, so sick. Yeah.
And the whole crowd erupted, man.
Yeah. Like that was one of like this movie had in-game crowd like fan service moments. It had in-game level crowd service moments where you're like, oh, but it wasn't I was glad that there was no corniness in it. Like, cause it could have easily dove into the corny. They could have easily went cheesy.
Now we're gonna have to disagree on that.
Okay. Where you at?
Yeah. Well, first of all, did you cry?
A couple of times. Well, like teared up, but not like but yeah, we're back. Sorry guys. I don't know what was going on here, but we're back. It wasn't Tyrone's fault. I was like, what's going on? And everything shut off. I was like, what? So but yeah, so you were saying that you were talking about corniness, and you were saying something so where were you at with it?
So I felt as though the banter between the villains and some of the banter, the stuff, the jokes between the Spider-Man, it didn't work. I felt like they told the guys, hey, this is what we're looking for. Just go ham with the spider jokes.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Between the Spider-Man. And that's what it felt like to me. I felt some of it worked. It's just sometimes I was like, yeah, okay, I know what you're going for, guys. That's not working for me.
I mean, that like it was interesting because like I've heard a couple people that weren't really a fan of some of the jokes. And some of the jokes are kind of like, eh. The thing that I really liked, I think, between them was more so of like the web stuff. I thought that was hilarious because the only one we knew that had organic webs was Tobey's. So them seeing that, they were like, hold on, what? It comes out of you? Like, I thought that was really cool.
And I was hoping. That was one of the things I was like, look, when they get together, they've got to find out in some form or fashion, like, yo, wait a minute, you don't have web shooters?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and I was like, they did it. That's what I'm talking about. So,
that was actually really cool. I like that. I like the fact also that we had, I guess in the power scaling community, on like the geek culture community, there's people that would power scale which Spider-Man was the strongest out of the live action ones based off of feats that they saw in the movie. and a lot of people were like, okay, Tobey's is the strongest based off of feats that he's shown. And we kind of see that in this at the end when Tom's Spider-Man has the glider and he's about to kill Goblin, and Tobey's Spider-Man catches it and just kind of like looking at him like, look, man, like, nah. Like, but like Tom is going for it. Like he's like trying to keep pushing. He's like, nah, bro. Like he just has this very nonchalant, and I like the role that Tobey's Spider-Man was playing, because he didn't get ripped from Spider-Man 3. He's been Spider-Man for a long. He didn't de-age him. He's been Spider-Man for the longest.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, you can hear people in theater. He looks old.
Right. But see, that was I'm glad that they didn't de-age him though, because they weren't trying to pull him from Spider-Man 2 or 3. They're like, look, he's like, yeah, me and MJ made it work and we figured it out, and and so I like the fact that he's the grandfathered in, I've been doing this for a really long time, experienced version.
I felt the look that he gave him was, it's not worth it.
Right.
I've been through it. I understand. I get it.
Right.
Don't.
Right.
That's what I feel like he said to him with his eyes.
Yeah. Like,
which is really good acting.
Yeah, exactly. There was just something about their chemistry that I loved. I loved the three of them. They just had, for me personally, I thought they had good on-screen presence. I think, to me, honestly, I think my favorite part was actually the redemption scene for Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man.
Oh man, I
wow.
cried there.
Facts.
Like, oh my God, man.
Yeah, that was.
I couldn't save mine, but I saved you.
Right. And it was one of those things too that a lot of us had heard rumors that they were going to be in it. We had talked about that too. Like, it'd be really dope if he got the redemption for that, right? Like, and they did it, but again, some of the things that a lot of us in the space had thoughts or predictions on or heard rumors is one thing. Execution is something completely different. And I think that for me was the best part about it, was like they executed almost damn near perfect on the things that we had heard that were going to be in the movie. And that just outweighed any of the predictions or any of the rumors that I could have imagined. I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah, you're right about that. Like, I think I would say, you're right. Like even that particular moment, I'm thinking of certain things that the fans called or wanted that we got to see. I think that was executed probably the best. Just thinking off the top of the head of the emotional response it got from me. Right. Even better than them all landing together. Like, I felt like that was done perfect, but it's like expected. They're in it. We're going to see them all swing together and land together. But when he caught her and he got emotional, I didn't expect that. But I was like, that was perfect for how he would feel catching her. And I was like, wow. Yeah. Ooh, and you can hear the crowd go, oh. Yeah, exactly. Like,
our crowd cheered so hard when he caught her. Like, they got so excited.
And he jumped toward her.
Yes.
He didn't freeze fall toward her.
No. Yes. He was like, I'm getting this one. I'm catching this one. Yeah. Yeah. I thought that was awesome. And I think that was something that at the end, when they, after everything was done, they had that moment together, those three, before, he ended up sending everybody back. But that hug that he gave them, the thank you, it almost felt real life thing. Well, to me,
messed me up too.
Same.
Like, this is bothering me,
bro. Well, this is how I felt about it when I saw that moment. Was Tobey was supposed to get a Spider-Man 4, but Spider-Man 3 did so poorly that they pulled it. And then Andrew Garfield didn't get a Spider-Man 3 because of MCU. So to me, this felt like them getting their closure, getting their redemption, getting their closure, and then Tom saying thank you for passing the torch. Thank you for being Spider-Man before me. There is a lot in there in that moment that I think was more than just, thanks for helping me out today, guys. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
That moment hit. That moment, a lot of people were like tearing up, and it was it was a really solid moment.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, you come up, we grew up with these characters,
right?
Even though I was older than a lot of people when they came out, but they mean more to us than we think they do. When we see moments, Endgame was the first film to make me feel that way. I was like, whoa, these characters mean way more to me than I thought they did.
Facts.
I didn't know it ran that deep.
Right.
But they do.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's the thing too. And there's a lot of people that are in film that don't really care for the superhero genre, and it's nuts.
Oh, I love it.
And
they're always the biggest movies,
bro. But that's the thing where it's like, it's hurting film. It's like it's been saving film for the past 10 years. Film. Like, what are you talking about? Like, what are we on right now? Like, and the other thing is, like, because I know people are like, oh, you got streaming services, I'll just watch it on stream. This movie is an exact reason why theatrical releases fucking matter. Because being in a theater with people and a shared experience like that, you can't get that at home. You can't get a crowd of people hype about the same thing. Like, besides sports, what else do you get? Like, sports, WWE, that's kind of it. Where it's like
concerts,
right, and music, right. But it's like movies, if you at home, like, it's not the same. It's not the same feeling. And you might have a great TV and great sound, but it's just not the same feeling. Like, so
someplace where you're with the fans, the energy is different.
It's different, bro. It is different. And it feels so good though. Like, obviously, we're still in this crazy COVID pandemic situation, but I want this movie to do is fucking great as it could possibly do financially. And here in Australia, it's been breaking records, and they have, like, here you have to, you have like a passport that you have to go in and log in when you go to, it's kind of crazy, but it just started on the 18th, so the day after I saw the movie. But regardless of the fact, people are still going out in droves to it. They're like, fuck it. Like, and it's, I think a lot of it,
this is worth risking catching.
But you know what it is though? It's people want that connection though. They want that, that shit.
The movie going experience is not the same as sitting home and streaming. It's not.
It's just not at all.
Even I got a nice setup downstairs that's booming. It still ain't the same.
Right. It's a great, like, I've seen it. I want to see it at home now. And it's the good secondary experience.
It's a substitute.
Right.
Home theater is a substitute for what you can get.
Right.
You know what I mean? At the theater.
Exactly.
Yep.
So having that, So how do you feel about, like, okay, you have obviously the ending. He's like, look, everybody's going to forget about me. Right. How did you feel about, one, the decision, but two, what that may mean now for the future?
Well, what's interesting is I didn't think about this until today. I just happened to be watching I think I was watching Cosmic Wonder or something, but he was talking about his review. And I don't know if it was how he said something, but it made me think. I was like, wait a minute. This not wish, thinking Dragon Ball. This spell wiped everybody's memory of knowing even who he is.
Right.
So I was like, wait a minute. This just isn't Endgame. This isn't the great emotional fan service big $1 billion movie finale. This is Flashpoint for him. They can go anywhere they want, right? Because if no one even knows who Peter Parker is, this is like they can rewrite any relationship with anybody. I mean, he could probably walk up to Doctor Strange, swing over to Doctor Strange and say, listen, you wiped you wiped your own memory of me. You know who I. And Doctor Strange would probably. I can see myself doing that, but who else?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I think the possibilities are just endless.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's the thing too. Like, and you kind of
Maybe
see
they
it.
did it that way for a reason too.
So here was my thought. Here was my thought process going into this when that moment happened. Because I was thinking before, Spider-Man had got extended in the MCU. His contract was only for like 2 or 3 movies, and he was already in Civil War. He was in Infinity War and in Endgame, and then he had like his and then they had like a deal where Marvel would help co-produce the individual Spider-Man movies.
Okay.
But it was already extended already. And I think this year the deal was finalized. It was done. So when I saw this, I was like, this is how Sony gets Spider-Man back, is they're removing people's memories of Peter Parker. That's what I thought. Oh. So I was like, oh, they're taking Spider-Man back because the MCU doesn't need Spider-Man. Like,
oh, wow.
Because they don't.
Yeah, you know, it's a, what do they call it? Like a cure-all.
Right, exactly.
Just in case, business-wise, we go this or that direction, we're covered.
Right. So that's what I was like, okay, this is what they're doing. And then the mid-credit scene of the symbiote staying, I was like, no, they're keeping him here. Like,
but that's a Sony movie. That's Sony movies, though.
It's a Sony movie. However, the symbiote stayed in the MCU that we know of. So that's why I was like,
Spider-Man, which is, oh, I see what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying? So it's, even though it's a Sony movie, it's still in the 616 universe. So that's why I was like, okay. So in my head, I was like, all right, well.
Oh, wait, the fans are going to jump on you.
Okay.
616 isn't the movie universe.
Oh, what universe is it? What is it?
I don't know. I think people said that the movie universe is based on Ultimate. Okay,
but I could have sworn.
It's not, 616 is the comics, apparently.
Got it. Well, from what I remember, I got you. Because I don't know if there was... I think it was somebody that was talking about Black Panther when they were trying to recast or talking about not recasting Chadwick Boseman. And I think one of the producers were saying that in the 616 universe, Chadwick is the only Black Panther. So, which is why I was like, oh, so MCU is 616. That's how I put it together. But
oh, I got you. Listen. Hey, just, you know how
for sure. Yes. Yes.
The producers don't know some shit.
Let me get my keyboard out.
You know what I mean? Because what was it? Like Nick Fury, he's the Black Nick Fury's from the Ultimate Universe.
Right.
He's not from the regular 616. So whatever.
Right.
The point is, yeah, it's a cure-all, and now they can do whatever they want.
And
Go with who?
So the end of that movie though was really dope because it signified a couple of things. It signified that Spider-Man is now Spider-Man. He's been through a trauma. He decided to do what was right by not even engaging MJ or Ned. He let them be. He was like, all right, cool. Like, you know what? Because he saw the mark on her head. Like, hey, are you okay? Like, oh yeah, it doesn't hurt anymore. And it was just one of those things of like, damn, like I did put her through this shit. So let me step away, walks off. But then we see him making the traditional Spider-Man colorway suit. Yeah. And I was
vibrant too.
Right. So I was like, okay, like this is he's now transitioned from, you know, the Iron Man apprentice Spider-Man to Spider-Man.
He made his own suit.
This is my colorway. I thought it was brilliant. I thought that whole sequence was really done well of like.
Yeah, and sad.
Yes.
I was like, God damn, I was like, he is by himself. That's why I made a joke and I said, well, the next one's going to be Spider-Man Home Alone. It's going to be like this.
It's going to be a Christmas movie.
Tiny eyes all wide.
It's a Christmas movie. Yo, that's hilarious.
And he was swinging around leaving the
That is hilarious. Spider-Man Home Alone. That's great. Can somebody make a poster of that, please? That'd be comedy. So here's my thing really quick before we go, because I know you got to go. So with the symbiote staying, nobody knows who Peter Parker is. Do we think we're going to get a Flash as Venom now.
Let me tell you something. The guy who plays Flash does an excellent job because I fucking hate him.
I hate him. I know. I'm like, oh, bro, you get on my damn nerves.
I can't stand him. And if he were to become Venom, that's not what I want as a fan. I personally would like to see another Eddie Brock.
Okay.
Because it feels like, I'm like, oh, wow, we're not even going to get the same Venom then. We're getting a different Venom.
Right.
He left his baby behind.
Right.
So I personally would prefer that we get another Eddie, but the way you're talking, you might be right. We're going to get Flash being him. Instead.
Possibly. It's a possibility.
I hope not.
I mean, that was one thing too that I didn't even pick up. Actually, my best friend Toshi, I was talking to him and about it, and I was like, help me understand how the symbiote stayed. He's like, I just thought it like laid an egg, and I was like,
yeah, baby, he left it there, just like when he broke Eddie out of prison, he left a piece behind. Boom.
I was like, yeah, that makes sense. I was like, so technically it wouldn't be.
He didn't want to leave.
Well,
he didn't want to leave.
Well,
maybe that's his way of leaving a piece of himself there.
Well, because like in my head I was like, well, if Venom is from the other universe, he should have went back as well. But if if he leaves an egg there, it's technically not him. It's kind of his offspring. Yeah. So and if his offspring was born in that world, it's from that world now. So which is interesting. I don't know how and why Venom was even in the MCU. I don't get that at all. It doesn't make sense.
Here's his fan canon.
Okay, fan canon. Here we go.
Because eventually, somewhere in his future, he did end up fighting a Spider-Man. So he was brought over just like the others started to come over. That's fan headcanon. Yeah, because he shouldn't have been.
Right.
Because he had no connection to Spider-Man at no level from those other movies. Right.
However, if Morbius is in the Venom universe,
because he says I'm Venom, which is a fourth wall break. Why would he say that in the trailer? You remember that? Look,
right. Yes. I'm Venom, and he laughs. He's like, haha. He jokes. So if he's in that universe, right? In the first Morbius trailer, there is a Spider-Man poster. Yes. So that actually could be right, where that headcanon probably could actually work. Where in Venom's future he fights a Spider-Man in that world, which could be interesting if we actually get Andrew Garfield fighting that Venom.
Yeah.
Because technically all three of them are now available to be Spider-Man at any given moment.
We got loose ends, and you know what? They reinvigorated the fandom with these two other Spider-Men.
Yes.
They could definitely make money out of running three separate.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be fucking crazy.
That'd be crazy. That'd be crazy.
Three separate Spider-Man franchises running parallel.
Yep.
At the same fucking time would be nuts. Sony, you better hear me on this. I just think trillionaires with that idea.
I'm telling you right now, from the response of the fans in the theater when Andrew took off his mask, I did not know, because I loved him as Spider-Man. I thought he was a little too cool as Peter Parker, but I loved him as Spider-Man. I thought he was really dope as Spider-Man. So for me, I was like, I didn't know, how many people really enjoyed him playing that character. And when he took the mask off and everybody was like, I was like, okay. I was like, all right.
And he reminded me more of, I started collecting Spider-Man around the time Venom first appeared.
Oh, okay.
The Todd McFarlane era. The guy who created Spawn. And, Spider-Man was cooler then. He was grown. Him and Mary Jane were married, living together. So he was cooler then.
Right. He wasn't the younger kid version of Spider-Man. Right.
Right. Like put it this way, Tobey is the perfect Peter from what most people think Peter Parker originated from.
Right.
The dorky, geeky, all that stuff. Yeah. Tom is more of a, I don't know, like he feels like an insecure kid. But Andrew, yeah, he was cooler. It was almost like the cool skater kid.
Yeah, exactly.
He neither really belonged nor didn't belong. He marched to the beat of his own drum type of guy.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, but Tobey, when I was watching last night, the first one, I was like, yo, he's really Peter Parker.
Yeah. Oh,
He
yeah.
really.
For sure. Yeah.
You know, that may be why some people like him more as Spider-Man, because he may play both, you know. As, but the quips, the jokes, Andrew jokes just as well as Tobey.
Yeah.
But what you call it doesn't joke. Tom doesn't joke. He doesn't do the whole.
Yeah.
You know.
He has some of it in when he's around the Avengers. He has some of that, like it's not necessarily jokes. It's more of like just little quips. But he
like remember when Peter shows up, when the Goblin shows up at Triple J's, and he's like talking shit, and he's like, you know, hey kid, be quiet, mommy and daddy need to talk.
Right.
I was like, when I was a kid or younger watching that, I was like, he makes the jokes like the comic book.
Right.
Okay, I like this guy.
Right.
But Andrew did too, but he doesn't make those sarcasm.
Right.
Like, whoa, you really trying to kill me? Did you have your coffee today? Like, he doesn't.
Right.
Doesn't make those type of jokes.
Right.
And I'm just noticing.
No, I actually agree with you on that. I think, and maybe we'll get that as he matures into Spider-Man, because now what I hope is we step away from Peter Parker Spider-Man for a few years. Like, I don't want to see him. Like, let him grow.
Oh, you want a time skip?
I want a time skip for him. Like, let him grow and do his thing, and maybe we'll have some more down to earth stuff with him. Him being like in the city now. Maybe have a collaboration with him and Matt Murdoch at some point. That could be fucking cool. Yeah. Are you watching Hawkeye?
Yeah.
Did you see the last episode? Okay. I don't. If people haven't seen it, I don't want to say nothing. But you know exactly where I'm going with that. So
he's coming on the scene.
Yes.
I'm hoping. You know what's funny? And they make the whole thing about gotta be a black Spider-Man somewhere.
Right. I loved it. I was like, hey, that's a cool nod. That's all we need.
So if we get a live action, I'm wondering if they're going to do it like Spider-Verse and have an older one, Tobey, pass that torch to him. I'm wondering what they're going to do.
So here's my thing. Homecoming. Remember? I keep forgetting. Donald Glover was in Homecoming. Remember that?
Yeah. Yeah.
So Donald Glover character is actually Miles Morales' uncle. So Miles could technically be in the MCU. Yeah. We just haven't seen him yet. So it could be cool.
So I'm not ready for Tom to die.
Me neither. Yeah, exactly. Which is why I'm like, look, let Tom run it for a while, time skip him, and see where we go.
Well, let me ask you this. I think that they did a test screening. They shot Tobey dying and not dying. Because usually in movies, you get stabbed in the fucking back while helping the main hero, you die. Right?
I mean,
the Goblin stabbed him in the back, and he got up and walked it off. And people were talking to me, well, you know Spider-Man's got a healing factor. I know he's got a healing factor. But that looked like it was set up for him to die, especially the way he was laying there. But I think they shot it with him dying and not dying.
Look.
And test audiences didn't want. That's a theory.
I wouldn't put it past it.
Rocky V, he was supposed to die.
I'm not.
Audience did not
look,
like it.
I'm not gonna put it past them. I think they did the same thing in Avengers Endgame, with Tony. They didn't really do it. He was gonna die, but they filmed stuff where people didn't know that they were filming a funeral. They didn't know. So there was a lot. They didn't really know what was going on. Died?
We thought he was going to die in Infinity War when he got stabbed.
Right.
That's what we thought.
Right. Yeah. I was like, oh damn. He sat him down. I hope they remember you. I was like, damn, like that. You daddied him like that.
He stunned him. I know.
Yeah, I was like, wow. Hey, but with like Tobey, here's my thing. I really hope that they can find a way of doing a live action Spider-Verse type of situation with Tobey's Spider-Man as an older Spider-Man, as Andrew Garfield doing his own thing or whatever, and just doing different movies and having the ability to bring them in.
Hell yeah. And if you're going to kill one of them off, okay, but down the line.
Right.
Because we've got, I mean, we could go forever, but we've got at least another 5 years of just, you can do Spider-Verse stuff. And Nick Cage, he voices Spider-Noir, right?
Yes.
They could bring him in as Spider-Noir if they wanted to.
Fucking Nicolas Cage. Yes.
Nick Cage as Spider-Man.
He has the most ridiculous movies. He has the most. You're just like, God damn it, Nick Cage, bro.
The love we have for Nick Cage, it's a weird love.
It is.
And I don't have that same love for an actor for any other actor.
Yeah.
He's his own thing.
He's his own thing. You're just like, yep, that's a Nick Cage movie for sure. Like, he just has. It's so funny because I actually helped him at the Apple Store. I used to work at the Apple Store in Vegas, and he came in a couple of times there. He's an eclectic energy. Let's just say that. Yeah. he is an energy for sure. Cool guy though. Cool guy. That's cool. Look, man, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate your time, dude. I know you got other things to take care of, man. And
is there anything else on your mind before we go? Because I got a few more minutes.
Okay.
Just in case you wanted to say, didn't get a chance to talk.
Oh, I haven't actually asked you this. So, where do you rank this Spider-Man movie against all of the other Spider-Man movies, including Spider-Verse?
Okay, because I am not, first of all, I'm not like the rest of everybody else where, Empire Strikes Back is the best Star Wars movie, or Spider-Man 2 is the best Spider-Man movie, or X-Men 2 is it. See, because for me, I didn't care for none of the X-Men movies except for what was the one when Magneto was young?
First Class.
Why can't I? First Class.
That was a great movie. That movie was excellent.
That and I want to call it End Times, but that's not what it is either. I'm retarded. I'm not thinking right.
Days of Future Past?
Days of Future Past. I liked both of those.
Yeah, those are awesome.
I didn't care for none of the others.
Fair. That's fair.
I'm like that kind of like with Spider-Man. That's why I'm watching them all again.
Got you.
Me and her are going to go through them all. I don't know where I can rank them now because after watching the first one yesterday, I had a good time. It's dated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The special effects are dated.
Right.
It's a little hokey, Power Ranger-ness, almost TV movie-ish too.
Okay.
But I still really enjoyed it. Now I got to watch the others because I enjoyed the first Amazing Spider-Man more than all three of Tobey's. Mm-hmm. I loved it. I loved the suit. I loved the new Peter, even though he's not comic accurate Peter.
Right.
But then there's people that just say Heath Ledger's the best Joker ever, and he's far from comic accurate.
Right.
He paints his face, he's scarred up.
Right.
He's different. He's not the same Joker. So
but the essence is the same. The essence of what the character would still be similar.
I don't know. Spider-Man 3 is last.
Yes.
Spider-Man 3 is last.
Trash.
Okay, then Amazing Spider-Man 2. Mm-hmm. So I'm going from bottom to top.
Got you.
So Spider-Man 3 is last. Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Mm-hmm.
Then Spider-Man.
Okay.
The Amazing Spider-Man.
Okay.
Spider-Verse. And this one.
Okay.
I think this is probably the best ever.
Okay.
But I need to watch the others. So we've got Spider-Man No Way Home, then Spider-Verse. Like a lot of people, I talked to a lot of people, they're like, yo, Spider-Verse is really
It's
good.
incredible.
It's animated,
yeah.
But it's the best fucking Spider-Man movie we've got. You know
I
what
think,
mean?
yeah.
And then I'll go with Spider-Man 2. Yeah, I didn't throw Spider-Man 2 in there, did I?
You didn't throw Amazing Spider-Man 2 in. Oh, no, you did.
Yeah.
You did. Because you did Spider-Man 3, then Amazing Spider-Man 2 was next. Yes, you did. Yeah, you did.
Yeah. But I meant Spider-Man 2. I don't think I gave that a place. I'll put Spider-Man 2 after Spider-Verse.
Okay.
Then Amazing Spider-Man, Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 3. I don't know, man. It's like I feel like I need a pen and pad to write them all out.
Right.
But I think you kind of got the gist.
Yeah.
You know, Spider-Man 3 is at the bottom. They didn't do Venom justice. Venom is his most popular villain ever. You know what I mean? You figure to be the Goblin. The Goblin's the most tried and true, but Venom shot past him. People love Venom, and you made this skinny kid him.
Yeah.
Well, I was expecting the gruff bodybuilder looking, reporter, and that's what you did? You thought that was right?
Yeah.
Are you fucking nuts? Like, what? So, but this is at the top. This is definitely at the top. It's number 1, 2, or 3 as far as the best Spider-Man movie ever. I just need to see the others first. Yeah. And then I'll give you a new list.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, because in my head, I said this in my review, I think you could really have a serious discussion. And again, I know people are going to be like, oh, well, special effects. And like, look, all those things are going to be of the era, right? Because if you go back and watch Terminator 2, that movie is fucking amazing. But it's not.
It still stands up. It's still, you know what I mean?
And right.
Still,
but some of the effects are like, but some of them hold up. You're like, all right, cool.
And the only one I can think of that's bad or considered bad is after he blows his head, splits his head.
Right, exactly.
And we've got the whole
exactly.
That's
right.
The only practical effect that I'm thinking is dated.
Right, exactly. So like for me, in my head, when I look at movies, I'm always looking at like story. How was it intended with the technology they had at the time? Because technology is always going to allow you to do more things. Like, all right, cool. We can now shoot in 4K. We couldn't do that back. So that's fine. But in my head, I'm like, all right, as a movie, as actors, as storytelling, as the way that the cinematographer was like, all right, I want to do this and that. I think you could really have a serious debate on Spider-Verse, on Far From Home, Spider-Verse, No Way Home, and Spider-Man 2. I think you could really have a serious debate on which one is the best. A real solid,
a literal, legit debate.
Yeah.
Like, nah, man, don't look. We know Spider-Man 3 ain't in it. We
right.
know that's not in it.
Yeah.
These 3?
Yeah. You could really have a serious conversation about which property, which movie was the better movie. I personally, like, I think that's exciting that we finally have a solid Spider-Man trilogy. Because Andrew didn't get to finish his, and Tobey started was boo-boo.
You know what though? I didn't know until I read certain things on it, but there's a lot of people that were unhappy with Spider-Man, with Tom Holland's Spider-Man, even though both movies were hits.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I think it's the first 3 where it's like, you know what? I'll take that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like with the way Tobey's ended, it was like, why did y'all do that? Seriously?
Right.
And then Andrews never got finished. So it's the first one where I can think a Spider-Man fan could probably sit there and be like, well, if I could choose a trilogy that I had to watch for the rest of my life, I'd probably choose that one.
Right.
I can't watch no other Spider-Man trilogies.
Right.
Okay, because at least even if you like Andrew and Tobey, they're all in that last one.
Right, exactly. Exactly. Okay, so last question. How did you feel about, because to me, I felt that Jamie Foxx's character got redeemed in this movie. Because I did not care for his character at all in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. How did you feel about...
they went in the left field with him in that movie, and Amazing Spider-Man 2. I was like, this is not Electro.
Right.
It's a whole new Electro. But
right.
I don't know. In this one, he had hair, which I thought was weird. I know the electricity fixed the gap in his teeth when he fell in, which was weird too. I was like, but he's got hair. He's cooler.
Mm.
You know, he's more. Yeah, this is what I want. This is what I want to do.
Right.
You know, the way he's talking.
So the only reason why I thought that made sense was when he got there, he was like, "Oh, this world's energy feels different." So
yeah, maybe it helped him do.
Maybe it, because that was the thing for me where.
Fan head cannon.
Well. So in I'm not sure what other. I think it was in the Flash, but I think in the theories of like multiverse in real life, people are talking like, oh, the multiverses exist, does it not? And they would talk about how the potential science would be that each universe vibrates at a different frequency. So yes. if they're implying that here, the energy would then be different. It would feel different. So he would probably take on another persona.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see definitely someone working that.
Right.
So when he feeds all this electricity, he rebuilds differently.
Right.
Or feels whatever.
He gets the gap closed.
I didn't really care for his character in this movie. He felt. I liked certain interactions he had, but he felt almost throwaway. Like if he wasn't in it, it wouldn't have mattered. The same thing with Sandman.
Well, Sandman and Lizard, however, to me, I was eh.
Oh yeah, and Lizard.
Yeah.
However, the movie changes drastically if Goblin or Doc Ock aren't in it.
Facts, 100%.
I felt that they're needed.
They're needed for sure.
Yeah. The other ones.
Yeah, I think Electro was kind of there. He was there for one, the idea of redemption, but two, I think a lot of it was you needed somebody else that was just kind of like on the cusp. Like I could go either way. Because he was fine with the thing on his thing until Willem Dafoe was like, what? These are gifts. Like we don't need. And he was like, yeah, you're right. Yeah. He took that thing off. So
yeah, you know, he reminds me of he's like that quote, you know, about power corrupts and absolute power absolutely corrupts. Because he was a nobody,
right.
The nerdy guy that really didn't. He put work into his intelligence and his inventions and all that, but he didn't put work into himself.
Right.
To be a people person and be liked by women and all that. And he gets this power and it totally makes him go left.
Yeah.
It's like some not all, but how some people get into law enforcement that were bullied and stuff. And then they get that gun and then they,
it's
they
a
go
whole
off the
other,
defense.
you're like,
yeah.
I mean, my dad was he was a sergeant corrections officer. So I saw, I had seen some things, saw some things, heard some stories. Heard some stories, So yeah, I mean, overall though, this was one of the few memorable, like really memorable movie going experiences I think I've had. That just like feel good in the theater, energy was high, the crowd was into it. Like I could probably count on maybe a one hand of movies where the crowd was just like in it. And this was one of those exciting movies that
most of them, as of late, were all Marvel.
True.
Or Marvel released, right?
True. Yes.
If we had all went to see, did you see Justice League? Zack Snyder's Justice League?
Zack Snyder's Justice League? Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You liked it?
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Imagine if we were all in the theater watching that.
Oh my God.
You know what I'm saying? Like the fans would have been like, because so many fans were behind him.
Yeah.
For like his redemption.
Yeah.
Like, yo, y'all chopped this movie up and gave us this shit.
Yeah.
And they try to blame it on him?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So I hope one day they do a theatrical release.
Yeah.
With an intermission. They
yeah.
give us 2
I mean,
hours
well, but even still, I mean, because if they did a theatrical release of Zack Snyder's Justice League, because obviously he was like, well, since it's not going to theaters, I'm going to give you everything that I shot. Right. So it didn't really matter. Right. But you could still cut a good 30 minutes out of that movie, take out or speed up some of the excessive slow motion, and you have a good 30 minutes
I love slow-mo, though.
I love it. I love it. I love it. But his slow-mo, he has a lot of scenes that just linger. They
Mac
sit.
is like John Woo for me.
Like if you remember that there was that one. Yes. Remember the there was that shot where like even the Aquaman scene when he's going back in the water. That scene was so unfucking necessary for the movie.
Well,
where they were like singing as he was walking back in. That crazy lady was just kind of standing there like creepily smelling his shit. Like that didn't even need to be in there. It made no sense for the movie. So I was like
the movie would have worked
without it. For exactly.
It showed you that they saw him
as a god. Exactly. Right. Exactly. Right. So it was like one of those things where it's like, look, like, so he has moments where you could probably take 30 minutes out of it, lose none of the actual meat and potatoes of that movie, 3.5 hours, and be in a theater. And like you said, with the intermission, easy. I think it could work, and I would go and watch it for sure.
Oh yeah. And the great thing about that movie, just like with even Endgame, and whenever a movie is 2.5 or more, it's important for it not to feel long.
Right.
And it didn't feel long.
No.
Endgame didn't feel long to me. You know, No Way Home didn't feel long to me. 2.5-hour movies can feel long sometimes.
Yeah,
man.
Which is kind of weird. And I think that was another testament of Spider-Man's movie. Just did not feel like that. Like because I went in the theater and I got out and it was like 9 something. And I was like, was that movie that long? I was like, hold on, what? I was confused. I didn't think it was.
Plus the half hour of trailers, of course. You got half-hour trailer. You know, your movie starts.
True. You're right.
You're right. 3:25. You're right. Be good.
Actually, real quick before we leave, what did you think about the post-credit trailer? Because it wasn't a scene; it was a trailer.
That's exactly what I told people. I said it wasn't a post-credit scene; it was a trailer for it.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
If you guys have not watched What If, you better watch What If.
That's exactly what I said. That's exactly what I said. I was like, yo, that's him from. Yeah.
I was like, is that him or is it who everyone thought Doctor Strange was in this movie?
Right.
Remember how?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I was like, I think that's from What If.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, because there was a tentacle moment as well in that trailer.
Oh, there was. Yeah, there was.
Yeah.
It showed.
Yeah.
Sure, McGrath or whatever his name is.
I was like, hold on. I was like, okay, this is interesting. I was like, oh, I'm about this. This is gonna be exciting.
And he looked creepy, didn't he?
Yeah.
He actually looked scary. I was like, he looks possessed. And he is.
Yeah.
Because he like took on all their powers or something like that. Yeah.
Which is awesome though, because if it's a tag team between if it is a tag team of Doctor Strange and Wanda versus him, that could be sick.
Or both of them versus her. Because I heard they might want to make her evil.
I mean, look, she's a problem. So I there's a lot that they can do, but I'm excited about it for sure. But yeah, man.
Either way they go, whether they make him the villain or they make her the villain, I'm actually fine.
True.
I'm actually fine with it.
True.
Yeah. But out of all of them, I'm looking most forward to seeing that, especially after seeing that trailer.
Yes.
After seeing that, I'm most interested in seeing that.
Yeah, I like darker tone movies, so if it has that edge to it, then I'm all about it. Which is probably why I like this movie so much. There was a more serious tone to it. It wasn't just,
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, this, which is why I liked the original Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 2 is there was more grit to it. It wasn't just happy times. Like, it's like, oh, this is serious. Like, this is not just a fun, let's go to the movies and have some popcorn. Like, this was a little bit more serious. So.
Yeah, you're right, bro.
But yeah, man, I appreciate you being here, bro.
Time,
yes.
Always have a good time, man.
Always, man. Always. Anytime you want to do this, bro, I'm with it. You're easy to talk with, and I know everybody likes us talking about geek stuff anyway. So,
are you a Matrix fan?
Yes.
Okay. There was too long of a pause for a second. All right, yes. So,
well,
all right, maybe we can do something after Resurrection.
Well, so here's the thing. Here's the dilemma I'm in. Okay, here's the dilemma I'm in. All right, so for it drops here later in Australia, so it doesn't drop on the 22nd. I think that it drops there. It drops like either Boxing Day or the 1st. So it drops later here.
Boxing Day?
Yeah, so that'd be the day after Christmas.
That's Boxing.
That's what they call it. That's what they call
it.
Boxing Day is the day after Christmas. Yeah.
Why is that? Because you're boxing it up and returning it?
Maybe. I have no idea. I have no idea. But dude, look, I'm telling you right now, as long as I've lived in Australia, they have a lot of sayings that I'm like, why do you call it that? They're like, I don't know. Like that shit, they don't know why they call it stuff.
Gotcha.
It's just what the nickname is, and you're just kind of like, okay, all right.
Well, find out for me, you crazy dingo.
Yeah, I'll let you know when, and then I'm super down because I loved Matrix 1. Was one of my favorite movies it's still one of my favorite movies of all time, and I will go to the grave to tell people that Matrix was a paradigm shifting movie. There was action movies before Matrix. And there was action movies after Matrix. It changed a lot of stuff in cinema. So I love
one of the most parodied movies.
Oh my God.
All time.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? The whole
yep.
You know what I mean? The whole
bullet.
And you know what? Before that, the most parodied one with a kick was Karate Kid.
Exactly.
I'm thinking about it.
Exactly. They just said, hey, you know what? Bullet time.
And you know a movie had made its mark when it's parodied to the point it's corny when you see people parody it now.
Right.
Yeah, it's from the Matrix.
Yeah,
you did. Okay.
Exactly.
It's either that or
Exactly. So guys, let us know if you guys want to see us chat about the Matrix when that drops. Hopefully I can see it in time. Let us know if you guys would be cool with that. And if you guys aren't following Tyrone Magnus and you're following me, I'm very confused by that. So make sure you guys go over to his channel, hit subscribe, help him get to that 2 milli on his journey to 10 mil. He's an OG on his platform, so show some damn respect. Go do the damn thing. And you got anything coming up for yourself?
I have a secret movie project coming up.
Nice.
I can't tell you all about, but it's probably the most badass role I've ever been casted in.
Yes.
And the director makes some badass, hard-hitting movies. He really does.
Nice.
He's a martial artist himself, and I think y'all gonna love this.
Let's go.
Yeah, right now I'm at the point where I'm trying to figure out how much weight I want to lose or keep for the role because the guy is menacing.
Right.
So I'll definitely look the part.
Hey, let's go. So yeah, make sure you guys check that out. Follow him. Stay. You post pretty frequently on Insta, yeah?
No, I'm hit or miss. I'm there. You know, you can find me on there. Like maybe once a week or a few times, but not like YouTube. You know, YouTube's every day.
Yeah, YouTube's
know?
every day.
That you want to watch gaming? Come to Tyrone Magnus Gaming.
Hey, what are you playing right now?
Huh?
What are you playing right now?
What am I? Oh, Days Gone.
How is it?
I like it.
Yeah?
I like it. Yeah.
I'm on that Halo right now. I've been trying to get through the campaign on that Halo. So
I've never played Halo in my life.
Okay.
So, yeah, when Halo came out, I had retired from gaming. I was really big into fighting games.
Oh,
when
really?
I was younger. Yeah, and I stopped around like Street Fighter Alpha 3. And like I was good enough to compete. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I was that good at that time. Okay. But I didn't know about competitions around the world. Like, nobody could beat me that I knew, and it was just like, and I got, I was just growing up. Not that you didn't grow up if you kept gaming at that age, but I just had other interests that took over. But I would still buy the systems and kind of maybe play a game or two.
Right.
I got back into gaming seriously.
Got you.
Once everybody got me to buy the PS4 Arkham Knight package.
Okay.
That was and that's when I started gaming again and really getting back into stuff. So think about that. Street Fighter Alpha 3.
Yeah, that's a while ago.
What year did that come out? All the way to when the PS4, that package, I missed a lot of games.
Yeah.
I missed the whole mania of Call of Duty when it first got popular and everybody had dial-up or a little bit better and was playing it on.
Yeah.
I missed that whole thing. Like, people be like, yeah, man, we about to do this Call of Duty. I'm like, what? Yeah, we all be playing. Like, we go home at the same time and we jump. I'm like, what? But it wasn't nothing to me at that time.
That's fair.
People were surprised because I was the gamer geek growing up, but everybody else was getting into it then. So, you know.
Yeah, I took a pause myself because I would get way too invested and then not do anything else, and I'm like, damn, I need to stop playing video games because I'm not getting nothing done. So yeah.
But nowadays, you can literally become a multi-millionaire being a gamer.
I know.
So as long as, you know what, if you're gaming too much, at least parlay it into your business.
Right. Get on camera. Get on camera with it. I agree.
And there's actually guys making money that their face isn't even on camera. So there's no excuse for being a gamer stuck in your bedroom. At least make some money at it.
I agree, man. But I appreciate you.
If this was around when we were kids.
Oh my god. Yeah, dude. I'm envious for sure. Super envious for sure. But we gonna get this thing out of here, guys. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe. Check out Tyrone's channel. Check out his gaming. Other than that, we'll catch you guys later. Appreciate you guys. Yeah.